share the live with my two best cousins. Thank you so much, Stacey. Clarence said that's right. He said that's the solid foundation, cousin. When you said 20, keeping Jesus in the center. Okay, now the professional bachelor and the Jesus Center 23 years kept woman. When I was on the phone with my cousin earlier today, I was just like, cousin, I'm gonna need you to pray for me because I do want to get my own. Why is this like this? I do want to get my own, husband. I hope I don't delete. Oh no.
My own
Okay.
husband.
I was like, I just want to get, because the thing is, I am, when you think of yourself as like having like, so successful in this one area, you know what I mean? You want someone to come home to. And I feel like I definitely meet people, but sometimes it's not aligned. And then you said to yourself, you was like, my sister too, because I told her she can't pick no more.
She can't
Okay.
pick no more.
So
Okay.
that
I'm picking.
okay, that prompted me, okay. Now, at the same time, my homegirl sent me this video, so we got to look it out and we got to have our first topic. But before I put the first, let me put this let me put
When
this
it's 5 to 10% that's getting 80% of the women out here.
It's 5 to 10% of men who are sleeping with them, but they are running through the 80% of women, and now they are disqualifying them from being good wives. So it first needs to
That's their
start.
choice. We have women in mass, the majority of women that are giving themselves to these low quality Tyrones, Pookies, and Ray Rays that don't care when there's good men that are right around you, but you don't want him because he's corny. You're as an individual, you have individual accountability. Say, I don't care what culture is doing. I make a choice with my box. Culture is not going to give me STD. Culture is not going to take care of when I'm an unwed mother. Culture is not going to take care of those things. I am responsible for my body, who I give my body to, who I have soul ties to. If you choose to spread your legs open in these streets, society did not make you do that. You made the choice to lay down with all of those men and putting it on that men need to take account.
Woo! That lady said a mouthful. And that's why I gotta get on to the first topic, okay? And the thing is, I'm gonna get it real personal because we about to break down my list, okay? So when it comes to Black women, here's our first question, okay? Single women and F boys, is it the picker or the picky? Okay, you heard it. Is it the picker or the picky? Lawrence, I already see you shaking your head. What,
Okay.
go ahead. I'm gonna let you do it because it's so much to say on this. And
The question is kind of confused. What is the black and white question?
the black and white question is, when
okay.
it comes to the single woman, you heard what this lady said
Okay.
about all these, the you know all these few men are able to deal with 80% of the women,
Oh yeah.
because 80% of the women are picking these low level men because they say they're corny, these guys are corny. But I'm like, where are the corny guys approaching? You know what I'm saying? Are the corny guys approaching? Because I would love to be approached by a corny, nerd guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Okay.
still, where's my corny guy with some swag though? Okay, how is it corny swag? How about a guy with some corny swag,
I
corny
think
swag?
in this unfortunately in this day and age, to access sex from a woman is fairly easy if you have some throwaway money. Let's just keep that real. Okay, so sexual
Mm.
satisfaction is not as high in demand as it used to be, say, in the 80s or the 90s, right? So when it comes down to men having the confidence to approach a woman like Dale in a grocery store who's attractive, they don't necessarily have those natural confident skills to actually approach a woman. It's terrifying. But as a man, we've grown, we've lived through rejection our whole life. When a woman tells me no,
Mm.
it doesn't shatter my life. It doesn't ruin my day. It's just like, all right, well, maybe she's going through something. Like I have a different perspective. But going back to my point, nowadays men don't have to rely on their swag and their confidence to get a woman. So they may see you and it's just like, oh man, she looked like she well put together. I ain't good enough for her. So they don't have the guts to approach you. Maybe if they hire, if they own liquor, they have liquid courage. But at this point, it's men aren't approaching women just because of the confidence outside of all the social media hype and mystique that they have, that they think women are acting like, or you know what I mean. So
Cousin, what you got to say to this, cousin?
Well, personal, I think we're in a superficial society. That's the
Ooh,
problem with it has come to. It's come to everything is what you look like. Values is no longer a concern when it comes to relationship. Me personally, I'm an old school girl. When I met my husband, I was 19 years old. He was 19 years old. We got married at 21.
wow.
You know what
mm-hmm,
happened? We had a common goal. See, I wasn't from the street, neither was he.
Okay.
So
mm,
the man that I
mm,
was looking for, and believe it or not, I was raised by somebody from the streets. So
mm-hmm.
what I did, a lot of time, I think we are trauma bonding with a lot of these people. You're
Oh
gonna
my
either do two things. When you grow up in a bad situation, either you're gonna do two things. You're gonna either improve or you're gonna continue to cycle. You have to choose.
mm,
I will say this, believe it or not, I was attracted to men exactly like the man that was modeled for me growing up. The
Mm,
man model
wow.
for me growing up wasn't a good man. The man that he is now is a great man.
Yeah.
But I was attracted to exactly that.
Wow.
But I had to pivot. And the thing that bothers me with a lot of women when they're talking about corny, what makes a man corny? The thing that kills me about women today,
yeah.
they enjoy getting punched in their face. They enjoy getting abused. Women are so used to being treated badly. They accept the bare minimum from a man. Ask me how many bodies I got. One.
Yes.
Lord Jesus.
That is, let me tell you something. That is
Whew.
so rare. Okay. Unless, of course, you with somebody else that's like 23, been married for 23 years. And and I feel like, cousin, honestly, I feel like had you waited on the man the Lord was supposed to sing you, everybody would have 23 years, but you be hiding the past and you be going and you be like, what? What? Because I know at 19, somebody to me that was corny was a person that didn't smoke weed. I'm out smoking weed. You know what I'm
Yep. There
saying?
you go. There you
A
go.
person that don't drink. I mean, the thing about it, you don't need to drink, but like I remember when I was married, right? Okay, my ex-husband, he was trying to stop drinking, and he did stop drinking, and but now we had to live in a household where nobody's doing nothing, and it felt like a prison cell. I'm like, I need to be, and even right now, I don't want a person with a problem like that's suffering a problem
Right.
with addiction, because I'm just like, I do want to have a glass of wine here and there. Like, come on now. I gotta
Right.
be living in jail because you can't, not that you can't control yourself, but like, that is, to me, that's not compatible. But then could have been still married had I been willing to do that. But then I would have been miserable on the journey. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it's like, you. So that's why I wanted to break it down. Now, of course, I see the comments is,
Mhm.
I see the comments is going off. Clarence said, "What do I think about going on the Kendra G show?" No, I don't want to go on the Kendra G show. First of all, have y'all heard of the Kendra G show?
Yep.
Okay, so the Kendra G show, cousin, is this like real popular, woman that has like way blown up channel, but she has like a dating app, and she has, and so she brings people on that want to meet somebody. But I feel like I wouldn't go on there because it feels, to me, you're bringing on people. You're like the female, uh, Kevin. What's this guy who used to be like
Samuels.
the
Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels? Do you remember him? It's Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So to me, it's like, you're bringing on people that's like, I got 6 kids, and they look a mess, and they want a basketball player, billionaire. So I wouldn't even be doing that. But somebody did just hook me up with someone that is like, technically like corny, by our standards. They got the white voice, they got
Mm.
they talk, they
Proper.
got the white baby mama. So that's already like, oh my God, but
Wow.
um but I am open to it because I do want someone that's wholesome, that you know is about a job, just make it, what I'm saying, making their self better, and they not out here in the streets. They want somebody that's a
I
good
lost the
person.
sound.
Huh? You said
Yeah.
you lost the sound? You lost the sound?
Um.
Go ahead,
She might have.
Lawrence, why my cousin.
I was gonna say I think a lot of good women meet a lot of bad guys at the wrong time. You know what I mean? It's no matter how wholesome and
Most of
good
the
of a
time.
woman that you are, it's about where the man is in his life at that moment. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, fortunately, some men get there early in their life. They get it there in their 20. They have a straight vision of their family, how they want to be. But some men, it takes a while, maybe 30s, 40s, sometimes in their 50s. So when a
Mm,
good woman meets a man at that right time, that's when she hits the jackpot in Vegas, because she doesn't have to
mm,
do so much work. A man has to come into his manhood and his maturity at his own pace. A woman can't force that pendulum to swing. So,
mm-hmm,
so the women that got lucky, they ran into a good man at a good time. So unfortunately, a lot of women who have jumped bodies to bodies, they've been meeting good guys just at a bad time. Just at a
mm-hmm,
bad time.
mm-hmm.
And not saying it's not their fault, but it's kind of like, that guy is just not in the right place. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
let me
yeah.
let me recap for my cousin because my cousin had to just some technical issue.
Okay.
Now he was saying that unfortunately for a lot of women that we have to we like a man has to be ready. We have to meet them at the right time.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and you know I, I don't know, and that's what the question is. The question is it the picker or the picky? Because I do feel like take for instance my own life. I've met this same spirit. I feel like this same spirit keeps approaching me. It's the guy that he's a nice guy. He's ambitious. He owns his own business. That's what I like. But somehow he I'll either find out, like, basically there are some inconsistencies. Now I do feel like I've cut it off sooner. I do feel like I'm, what my pastor calls like spiraling up, which means like this same situation approach you and you handle it better. So I cut it off sooner. Like, I've recognized that inconsistency before, but it's just, you just you do want to meet someone that you're attracted to, with
yeah.
you feel like the same common goals. But let's break down my list, okay, cousin,
Okay.
because cousin, I need help. Okay, let's
Okay.
break down my list. This is the list, okay. Now, and I'm gonna have to put it up right there, but first of all, before I break down my list, let me just say this too, okay. If you just tuned in, hit that subscribe button right now. We do this each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. And every week is a blast, okay. And in the comments, let's break down my list right now. Okay, so here's what I've got on my vision board. My vision board is I want a man that loves the Lord. Okay. First and
Okay.
foremost. Okay. I want a generous man. Okay. A man that has his own money and he can afford to take us out. I'm gonna just say that, okay. He can afford to take us out, okay. Now, I'm not a person that you need to take me out to $500 restaurants every week. I'm just with going to Griffith Park for on Telescope night and it's free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, show me off. Show me
Sh-
off, brother.
sh-
Show me off.
Show me off, okay. But
Yeah.
I do feel like it needs to be like, I don't mind paying, but I feel like that emasculates a man. You know what I'm saying? When or whatever the word is. But
Yeah.
anyway, definitely want him to be well endowed, with equipment that works well. Okay. I mean, come on now, we asking the Lord.
That's
People,
important.
no, I'm telling you.
You want what you
No,
No,
want.
no,
Yeah.
that's
seriously.
really
No, so
important.
no, I'm telling you, like, because I feel like they sell us scarcity, cousin. You see what I'm saying? I feel like they sell us. They be like, oh, well, if you get this kind of man, well, he gonna be taking care of you. He gonna do this. Well, you got to sacrifice over in this area. And I'm like, that's we the only ones being sold scarcity, and everybody else is coming to get all the character. But it's important. Somebody needs to like be able to break your back in the bedroom. Come on now. And when
Yeah.
when the money is gone, what else do we got? We got broken backs.
I always say that to my husband. I
We
said, we
broke.
don't
We got
have no
broken.
money. We got that. That's free.
No, that's true. That's important.
I
Sexual
stands with a
chemistry is very
TK of
important.
Okay,
money. Let me say.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, cousin. That's why you got the 23 years. You see what I'm saying?
And then,
Because because
that's the
because
reason I
you
got married, just to do that.
yeah, no, and that's the reason I like, and that's the reason I'm eager to get me, because I'm celibate, until I meet someone that I hopefully can marry. But I have done, I have thought that this was the person. So now I'm back, what I'm saying, not celibate, because I'm thinking this is the person,
Mm.
but the thing is, but then it's that spirit again, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm mistaken for the person. But it are those things to me, those things aren't unreasonable. You know what I'm saying?
They actually are. You got to think about where you are in your life. Obviously,
Okay.
you're not 21. Obviously,
Okay.
you're a wise woman.
Okay.
Obviously, you're not a perfect woman. So,
Okay.
any guy that's forming a companionship with you is
Okay.
compromising as well. So it's like that's where it goes. Like I think it's
Wait,
the
what
eighty
is he
twenty rule.
compromising when he's formed something with me? What is he compromising?
Well, I'm just saying. Let's just say if he's like, I want a youthful model body looking type of black chick, and you're just like, look,
Mm,
look. First of all, I'm a grown woman. I got grown body. I got grown tendencies. You ain't getting none of that. So a man, we want youth. That's just in our nature. We want to, we want to
mm,
start a family with the most youthful woman as possible. It's just natural. So
mm.
you alone, a man has to compromise, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying he's with a grown woman. You're done with the games. You're wise. You're not like caught in the bliss. So and just everything else. You got a grown body, voluptuous body. You're not trying to be 120 pounds. Ain't gonna happen because you
Yes.
voluptuous. So everybody is compromising when you get to a certain point in your life. You know what I mean? You can't be as peaky as you was when you was 21 and he was 23 and blase blase. So as you age, it you gotta kind of lower that scale to where it's like I just want, like you said, a God fearing man, a generous man. You got to go for very broad like the Peter situation. That's the asterisk. You might get lucky. You might get lucky, but you might have to
See, that's the
compromise.
thing is, that's the thing. See, and that's what I feel like we being told. We being told in the black race. I mean, I don't know what white women are being told, but because I'm not talking to them specifically about this. But to me, no, I don't want to compromise on, like why, like people are saying you can't have it all. But now if I told you my dream was to be a late night host on TV, you would be like, the Lord can bring you anything you want. So, but then when it comes to a man, they be like, no, the Lord ain't that got that much strength now. Come on now, you asked for a lot. When I'm just
Yeah,
like, but he made a man to me to desire me specifically, my body type. Like that's how he did with the
that's
tribes.
true.
Some people
That's
he
true.
made, and he is just like, oh, this man right here, oh, he gonna need this kind of body right here. So this is,
Absolutely.
so
Let
I
me let
feel
me
like,
Absolutely.
break in. Let me break in right quick, cause it's getting on my nerve. Cause I'm gonna tell you, it's always the tubby the tuber looking brothers that always talking about they compromising.
yeah,
Okay, they always the old crusted decrepit brothers that gonna tell that they want you. Women want you too. What makes you think we want Mr. Limp over here? Why do you think the young girls want that?
woo,
See the but and also if you notice the difference. You described what you would like in the husband. No offense to you, sir, but you talked about superficial things. When y'all on two different levels, that's not the type of man that you go for. If that's the type of man you are attracting, you have to pivot. You have to get
okay,
somebody with the common goal, the same common goal as you. I was 19, my husband was 19. We both know we wanted to be married. We were young. Everybody
mm,
said that wasn't impossible. Guess what my attributes were? My first thing was he had to love the Lord. When I met my husband, now hold it. First, no, let me rephrase that. We didn't grow up wealthy. So at first I said I wanted a man with money, right?
mm,
Okay. I worked at a bank. I said I wanted a man with money. God really showed me. Because at that point in time, I was 19 years old and I told my mama, I said, I want to be married. My mom said, well, you get on your face and you pray, you ask the Lord. You say, I'm ready to be married. And I say, Lord, God, show me my husband. He showed me. He came into the bank. I so when he walked in the bank, there was something about him. I just knew this man was my husband. We were doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. He was stalling to make it into my line. I was stalling to make sure he get into my line. It was the God
Mm.
appointment. When I met him, I found out that he loved the Lord because he spent the whole time in that bank telling me
Mm.
about his relationship with Jesus. And guess
Mm.
what? Me desiring a man for money, God showed me him. That man had $10 in his bank account, but guess what he had in his hand? An income tax check. I said that was good enough for me. My daddy
Yes.
had always told us, everybody, see, a lot of the women today, they are so superficial. They're talking about they want money, they want things, they want cars, everything. You ever know talk about they want a basketball player? You know what comes with a basketball player? A lot of other stuff. So what you want, that money is gonna do that. I wasn't looking for an ordinary man. I always said I had an extraordinary. My husband is extraordinary. Okay.
Yes. So
Even
that
when he's
that
at work, they cannot believe that my husband has never cheated on me. The
wow.
same thing that we have never done it in their years. Why? Because we have the same common goal. I serve him and he serves me.
Why? Now you know what? That's so crazy. Because you know what? Because when I'm saying a man with money, I need you to have your just your own money. Like let's
Right.
go out on your budget. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I feel like your budget is good enough for us because if I pull out my money, it does something to a man's like psyche, men that like it puts me for to me in the mama category. But wait, let
Right.
me just say that, you know what I'm saying, when I'm like treating you now it's like you my son. Now I'm like, I'm subliminally turned off, you subliminally turned off because now I'm taking you out. But you mentioned a basketball player, and I got to move on to topic three. Guys, first of all, okay,
Hmm.
if y'all watching this, do me. Oh, first of all, let's get to the comments before I even say that, okay? Because, honey, y'all's going off. Stacy says statistics show couples who marry young stay married in greater numbers than those who marry later in life. You say all of those are
That makes
reasonable.
sense. That
Uh
makes
huh.
sense.
I mean, I do feel like you get to grow together, but I do know people that
Yeah, we grew up together.
Yeah,
yes,
ignorance is bliss. Totally. Like you guys are discovering love and passion and sex and companionship all together. That makes sense. That makes sense. And shout out to her because though that's like getting struck by lightning three times in the same spot. Her case scenario, it's kind of picture perfect, and it's very rare, but it's actually a wonderful story, and I wish you guys the best. That's what everybody hopes to have. If I got married at 19, I know how naive and young I was. But if I'm under that umbrella of love, it doesn't matter because I'm growing with somebody together.
yeah.
But that's very young, but that's very lucky. You are a very lucky woman.
How
Look,
about this though? I wasn't in love when I got married.
Cause
what?
love, what love got to do with it?
Nah.
What?
How about that? How you like them apples?
What?
This is a
That's the
God
truth.
relationship. Feelings. Sometimes your feelings will lead you the wrong
They
way.
always lead me the wrong way. See, we got to have a whole nother episode. I got to bring y'all back on like how to get rid of those feelings because that's what's really happening with the guy my homegirl hooked me up with. Like this guy is like, like real, like, that again, like it's like that white voice kind of black man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's, the fact that he's seeking a good woman keeps me like, okay, you're a prospect because you're seeking a good woman. You know what I'm saying? Um, for first of all, Clarence said that backbreaker might come with a bad ego. I don't know. I don't know.
It don't.
I feel like
It don't.
we are constantly sold. We can't have the backbreaker and the good man at the same time, and I feel like it's a
It
lie.
is a lie.
I
It's a,
think
it's
I
a big
think
lie.
Dale. I think Dale just need her back broken every season, and she'll be fine. In the meantime, that's
No,
what it
I
sounds
need
like.
it to be in-home backbreaking, guys. I need this to be covenant backbreaking, guys. I need it to be
Yes.
under the covenant backbreaking.
Those are the best.
That's
Sydney
true.
said, Sydney said, the words better have more means more than it seems on the surface. Sometimes each party have to pull some slack where the other partners lack. Sometimes expectations are too high and unreal. God
Yeah.
gives us grace where we lack. So why do we expect a perfect
Yep.
partner? The give and take has to be there, and grace is needed. You are so correct, because you know what, I do feel like, because sometimes, Sydney, I will regret the decisions I made to like get a divorce, because you promise the Lord you're gonna see about somebody, and then you don't give them grace when they make it a mistake. But then
Yeah.
also too, I feel like, so I feel torn between the grace and the jailhouse, because now it's like, because I'm giving you grace, I'm about to have to endure this period of my life where I can't do nothing, because it might live. But then I don't know what it would have led to. You know what I'm saying? I just was thinking fast, but I do feel like, I wish I had given a person more grace,
Yeah.
because then I would have been well into the 20 years, that I want with someone. But I do, see the people who meet later in life, and they still have 20 years. I've heard of it. Even my homegirl grandma met her step grandpa they met at 50 and was married for 50 years. They both lived to like
Yeah.
100, 102. So